Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Goblin RIDES Podcast. Today I'm joined by the wifey. How you doing, wifey?
I'm good.
You doing all right?
Yeah.
Has there been anything interesting happening this week? There's a couple of things. Well, our recent video with introducing Abby to the channel and teaching her how to ride some bikes.
Yeah, that's coming out tomorrow.
No, it's already out today.
Oh, is it out today?
Well, we're filming this on Wednesday, so yeah, out today.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that was a lot of fun, and I mean, it's the first time really I've ever taught someone how to ride a motorcycle. But it's nice that the things that that I'm showing in the videos whenever I'm doing a tutorial on something, like when someone's actually able to learn using your techniques and the way how you think it's the easiest way to approach things. It's nice.
It's nice in the practical application put into play, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And, whenever you get things like comments saying, oh, this doesn't work, or you shouldn't do it like that, or whatever, it's nice that I'm able to confirm that, well, prove these people wrong, basically, Yeah. But, so that was good. What else? Is there anything else really that's been going on this week? I mean, the Daytona hasn't been on the channel for a while because its MOT has expired, and I've been fixing it up, getting it ready. So it needed 2 new tyres. That's all sorted. It needed 2 indicators, but I replaced all 4 because the indicators at the back weren't the same. So I just wanted to keep it all symmetrical and all that. And, well, one thing I discovered whilst I was just scrubbing in the new tyres was that one of the forks is leaking a little bit, so that might be a problem for the MOT, but I'll put it in anyway and we'll see what the mechanic says, and then if we need to fix the seal, then that's what I'll have to do. But yeah, so that's why the Daytona hasn't been around recently, but I can't wait to ride that bike again, man. Oh, I miss it so much. I mean, one last thing I suppose is that I'm looking at getting rid of my H2 now. Yeah. And looking to replace it with something else. Yeah. We've got some options on the table which we're looking at. But unfortunately, I could try selling it privately, but who's got like 12 grand lying around? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I prefer to sell it to a dealer as like a part exchange thing and do it that way, because then I don't have to worry about it too much. But the problem is that it's not going to earn me back as much as I was hoping. So if I part exchange it or sell it to a dealer, I probably won't make any of my deposit back. Unfortunately, that could have gone towards the new bike. It's just the way it is. It's just the value of those bikes, If people aren't buying them enough, then the value of them goes down. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's what we've been trying to do recently. Anyway, so today we're actually going to be discussing a topic or a question that's been asked on Reddit here. And this is quite poignant, again, because it's semi-related to what we did with Abby, or the experience that Abby's had over the last week or so. But let's read it out to you guys, and then we can kind of go from there. Sorry?
We'll discuss it.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. All right. Wife getting into riding. Nervous. Oh. All right. So they say, my hobby infected my wife and now she's getting into riding. I taught her some basic stuff on my old R3 and we went to a parking lot. Unfortunately, she stalled and dropped it after about an hour of practicing the friction zone, clutch control, etc. Fast forward 2 weeks, she just took the MSF course and passed, took it on a Grom, and with her renewed confidence, got on the R3 in a parking lot again. She dropped it again, trying to do a turn too fast. I feel bad because she's getting scraped up, plus my poor R3 hasn't been dropped in all these years. I've owned it. No frame sliders, I regret that. Yeah, that's a big one. She loved the Grom from the MSF course, never dropped it, but wants to do highway riding with me. I figured the R3 would be a good learner, especially with its low seat height, but she's dropping it routinely and doesn't seem comfortable on the bike. It's just worrying because I don't want her to get super hurt, but she's very stubborn about getting on the bike and already tells me she's ready to ride it to the gas station. I don't think she is, honestly. We've talked about it We've talked about all of this, but it always ends up in her getting frustrated. What would you do? TLDR, wife is a new rider and keeps dropping the bike. I want her to be safe and happy, but she's worried. But she's worrying me, and my worrying frustrates her. Okay. So, right. I think we can kind of come at this from a different perspective here, because it's very similar to parents and their children getting into bikes, isn't it? And even if there is a parent that rides, there's always going to be that feeling in the back of your head, isn't it? That worry in the back of your head. So, I mean, the thing is, like, if the R3 simply isn't comfortable for her,
get a different bike.
Get something else. If she's more comfortable on the Grom, I don't see why doing highway riding wouldn't be doable on the Grom. I know that the top speed of it is quite slow, but still, it's enough to do some sort of highway riding, I would have thought.
This entire time that you were reading that, I thought to myself, your wife who's never ridden, you gave her one of your bikes to ride, which is very kind. But if you didn't want it to get dropped, you shouldn't have done that, because chances are she's going to drop it because it's going to be new, and like clutch control, it is difficult and it is hard. So,
and your first bike, you will drop it.
Yeah, you will. And
no
you'll drop
doubt.
it, and potentially
you will drop it. It doesn't matter what bike it is. It doesn't matter if you're comfortable on it or whatever. It doesn't matter if you've been riding it for a day or a few months. At some point during that time, you should expect to drop.
And potentially, you're going to drop it repeatedly. So first point of that is maybe don't give her that bike. If you know she's comfortable on a Grom, maybe get her a Grom.
Get her something that she's comfortable riding, and something that if it gets damaged, then it's not really a big deal, you know?
And the thing is that I feel bad because she's getting scraped up. Plus, my poor R3 hasn't been dropped in all the years I've owned it. And it's like, okay, cool, good for you. But if you love that bike so much, why have you given it to a learner? Yeah. Like, why would you do that? I just think that's silly. Obviously, in America, I'm guessing, because it says highway.
An MSF course, yeah. So that's the American motorcycle
I didn't know that.
Course. Yeah.
And it says, I don't think she is, honestly. And it's like, okay, I'm just curious what conversation he's actually had with her. Whether he's, I say it's he, I'm assuming. And
the one thing to keep in mind as well is that it's all well and good doing some basic stuff and doing the MSF course and all that, but you've got to allow her to have some time in the saddle. Yeah. Right? She's not going to be an expert overnight. Mm-mm. And it's okay to worry, but at the same time, you've got to let her do it. Yeah. You know? And it's the same old thing again. Like parents, they always get worried about their kids going out and riding their bikes when they first start off. But that's the only way they're going to get better.
But also saying things, like I said, I don't know what conversation they've had behind closed doors, but any conversation where this person is like, I don't think you're ready, or you keep dropping my bike, or whatever you're saying, is not going to help the nerves. If anything, it's going to make them, I don't see more dangerous on the road. That doesn't seem like a fair assessment.
But do you think it would make them more nervous?
Yeah, it will.
Because that's what happens, isn't it? Like nerves manifest into fear, and then fear affects the way you ride, doesn't it?
It does, because all of a sudden you're maybe not doing things that are potentially safe for you or anyone around you. But I'm going to be honest, I think this is an absolutely pointless post. The answer is in there. Yeah. Get her a Grom. If she's comfortable on the Grom, get her a Grom. Maybe she needs some additional riding time, like you say.
So she doesn't need to have a Grom specifically. If she wants to do some highway riding and they're worried about the top speed of the bike, there are bikes out there, like an R3, around about that same size of bike, that are more comfortable and that she's probably going to be more comfortable on anyway, just riding it. And like he said that it's a small seat height. Sport bikes generally don't have small seat heights.
They're
fairly
higher,
tall.
They? Yeah.
125s, they tend to be a bit more... In general, they tend to be a little bit lower, just so it's easier for riders to grasp and it's easier for them to flat foot and things like that. But sport, like motorcycles, don't traditionally have small seat heights or low seat heights. Honestly, you look at my Daytona, I'm almost tippy toeing on that bike. Yeah, and that's a fully, like it's a thoroughbred super sport.
The thing is,
you could get, but just before you interject, I guess. There are bikes like a Duke 390, the BMW is it G310. She could look at the Z or the Ninja 400, 300, 500 from Kawasaki. I mean, you've got the Honda. You've got a lot of Hondas in there as well, actually, that you could have a go on. All that aren't they? Okay, they're not Groms, but in terms of the riding position, in terms of the seat height, are very similar.
I just feel like this guy has got in his head he doesn't want his wife to ride and he wants the internet to side with him. That is how that comes across to me.
Well, he's asking, what would you do? And for me, that's what I would do. I would give her the time in the saddle. Whether if it's on the R3 or if it's on something else, that's up to you, really. You know, that's a joint decision if you want to go into buying a motorcycle together, and they're cheap as well. You could get something really cheap that would, even if she does drop it, it's not a big deal. And she'll probably be more comfortable on it anyway.
And this is the thing. He says she doesn't seem comfortable on the bike. And it's like, it's very easy to make her comfortable on a bike. Get her a different bike. Get her a bike she is comfortable on. So,
well, he said she doesn't seem comfortable on the bike.
Has he actually, like... This is the thing. Again, there's not enough information in this to really sit down and be like, what conversations have you had to understand why she's feeling so nervous? Maybe he is making her more nervous.
Do you think? But
maybe.
He hasn't said that she feels nervous.
Yeah, he has.
He said he thinks she is, that she's not comfortable, but he's never said in her own words that she's nervous on the bike.
Well, okay. Well,
it might be implied, I don't know, but...
Renewed confidence then. But regardless, what I'm trying to say is, you know, it all depends on how you have a conversation with someone. You can say something like, look, I'm worried about you going to the petrol station because at the moment you don't seem that confident in yourself. I feel like that might be another step too far. Or he could say, you're not ready, like what you doing. It's how he has that conversation with her.
Yeah, and
how you word it.
When harsh words are used, it can be very off-putting.
Yeah.
And it look, the thing I love about this girl is that he says she's stubborn.
Yeah.
She stubbornly wants to do it. That's a good thing. She really wants to do it. Like, we need more of that. Too many people, they're like umming and ahhing about it. They try it out, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, it's not for me. And they don't really want to give it another go. They're not really willing to put the time in to really start enjoying the hobby and properly understand what it's all about. This girl wants to do that. And, I mean, it's a similar kind of thing to what we experienced with Abby.
Yeah.
You know, she has dropped her bike. She dropped it once with us whilst we were practicing off camera.
The day before us.
She dropped it quite badly. Yeah, the day before.
And the day
after. And that was kind of stupid because I don't know what that was all about anyway. I really don't think that she should have been trying to ride it when she didn't have the space or the time to do it. You know.
Yeah. And she dropped it the day after as well.
But that's different as well because so. She was walking it out of the garage, and apparently the kickstand flipped back up again. She didn't realise, and as she was lowering it down, it fell on her.
Which happens.
So, but that's experience as well. I don't see that as a bad thing necessarily.
No.
But that bike that she has, for her, it's quite a tall bike.
It is a tall bike.
But she didn't have any problems riding it.
No, she didn't.
On Saturday, she had no problems riding it whatsoever.
I think
she could just about tippy toe it enough to wheel the bike back, to move it forward.
Yeah.
And there are lots of riders that are able to ride bikes and learn how to ride bikes, even though they're not able to flat foot them.
So like,
Sorry, go on.
In Japan, there's a lot of Japanese women who ride, and they can't touch the floor, but they do a perfectly fine job, don't they?
And there's, but that's the thing though, is that again, people, they have this thing in their head, like a rider would see that, who can flat foot a bike, and all of a sudden think, oh, that bike's too tall for you or something like that, when that's actually not the case whatsoever. I don't know why people get it in their heads that if you can't flat foot a bike, that's a bad thing. No, you can absolutely ride a bike that you can't flat foot. You can absolutely ride a bike where you're tippy-toeing it. The way to do it is simply when you're coming to a stop, you have to shift your bum on the seat, keep your other foot on the foot peg, and lean your foot out. And so many riders learn how to ride like that. Shorter riders on adventure bikes, that's how they ride their bikes, and it's perfectly doable. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, that adds to the whole worry and comfort and nervousness of this thing. But you've got to let her do it, man. You've got to let her ride the bike and get confidence on the bike. If you don't want to ride in the R3, then you have to get something else. Just get something cheap and cheerful that she can get that experience on. If she drops it, no big deal. And then maybe later on, when she gets a bit more confident, she's got a bit more experience, then she can go on the R3.
He mentioned that she dropped the bike 4 times in that. 4 times he had to bring it up that the bike's been dropped. And it's like, in her first 2 years, she's going to drop a bike because she's going to make little mistakes as she gets used to the road and gets used to things. But to mention it 4 times, that's overkill.
I'm trying to remember how many times I dropped my first bikes. So my first scooter, I dropped that at least twice. Mm-hmm. Might have been 3 times, actually. My first proper motorcycle.
The ER6?
No.
Oh.
A geared bike.
Oh,
so
sorry.
my old Chinese 125. That one I dropped at least twice as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that was 3 times. And that was all within 2 years.
Yeah.
But there gets to a point where that stops happening, where you've had that experience, you get that enough time in the saddle to realise when you're going to drop it, when you're not going to drop it. And look, I've dropped bikes since. I've dropped bikes more in the past few years than I have done since I started.
Yeah.
And that's just going to happen, you guys. I just, I don't understand why people get so irate about dropping bikes.
And the thing,
you are going to drop them. If you're worried about it, then get the frame sliders.
And the thing is, she keeps dropping it, doing different things. So it's not like she's doing the same thing and not learning.
And exactly, that's the learning process.
She's doing, the first time was clutch control and something else I can't read from here. And that's fine. Like, that happens. Like, you do, that happens. And then the next one is turning too fast. That's how I dropped my bike. I basically locked the handle.
You weren't turning too fast. You were turning too quickly.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say there, that's basically the same thing I just said.
Basically the same thing, yeah.
But no, what I'm trying to say is that you were trying to turn the bike in too sharply.
Yeah.
Whereas you didn't really need to, but the goal was at the time to try and turn the bike in as sharply as you could, and that's
how I dropped it. Yeah, I wasn't even going that fast, but she's going to make mistakes, and if you want her to be part of the hobby with you, you have to accept that these mistakes are going to happen, and there's going to be things that maybe you're not best pleased that she does because she's learning, she's in a state of learning. But this is your time to educate her and to help her in her journey into riding. But like you say, if you don't, and like I've said, if you don't want her to drop this sacred R3 that you've never dropped because you're a riding god, clearly, then give her a different bike.
I don't know if he's sounding like that, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't see the point of mentioning it.
He cares about the R3.
I get
clearly.
that.
He's got some sentimental value.
Why did he have to say I've never dropped it? Why is that important? It's just
because
like showboating.
it was in pristine condition, and he probably wanted to keep it like that. But it was quite naive to think a beginner wouldn't drop it. So, but the thing is, you guys, as well,
by not putting frame sliders on
very easy for someone like me who's been riding for a long time to be very judgmental about someone who's just starting off. It's very easy to do. And it's not like as if we all learn at the same rate either.
No.
It's not like, I learned how to ride a motorcycle on my own. I learned how to ride it on my own within a few days. That doesn't make me any better or worse than anyone else that's learning to ride a motorcycle.
It makes you different.
Whether it's with help or without help. Exactly. It makes someone... It's just the way how people learn are different. Some people are comfortable figuring things out. Some people, they really need the help. But it's all going towards the same goal. You know, it's all about trying to get these people to learn how to ride the bike and be comfortable and enjoy the hobby. But you've got to give them you've got to give them the time. You've got to give them your time and your patience. You can't just expect them within a few days or within a few hours to be an expert rider.
No.
But that seems to be the attitude of so many established riders. We've all forgotten how difficult it was for us when we started riding.
Do you think it's an expectation that they expect you to be perfect, or that they don't want to put any more time into teaching you?
A bit of both, probably.
Yeah.
I think, there's no real patience involved, and they just expect you to, you know, like when you think, like clutch control, for example, to someone like me or you, that'll come very, very easy. But to someone who has never ridden before, you know, do you think, oh God, I got that within half an hour? It's like, okay, but you're not the same person.
I'm in no position to judge anyone's riding whatsoever.
Well, that's why I don't judge people's riding, but I also don't judge the way how long it takes people to learn either.
But that's the thing.
I will be patient with them.
There's certain things on Saturday that I was watching, and I thought Abby picked those up quicker than I did, and there were other things where I was like, actually, I think I found that easier than Abby did and that's just because we're different people.
Exactly.
You know, she had strengths where I have weaknesses and vice versa. But no point was I sitting there thinking, you shouldn't be on the road. Yeah. I was thinking, you know what? Too fucking right. Like, well done you. And I mean, it's in the video. I don't know how many times I high-fived her on Saturday. They're not all in there, but I was just like trying to be really encouraging.
But you have to. You have to be encouraging.
The reason I was there, looks like I was a camera person, but it was to be a positive female
Yeah, exactly. It's
person.
To give her that role model there who's been there and done it, you know.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like as much as as much as I would love to teach more girls to ride bikes and stuff, it's never going to be the same if they're being taught by a girl.
No, it's not.
They're going to prefer being taught by a girl than by a guy. That's got nothing to do with anything. It doesn't have to do anything with your skill level or anything like that. I think it's just a little bit easier to contextualize for a girl when they're taught by another girl.
I'll be honest.
We need more CBT instructors and more motorcycle instructors that are girls, especially in the UK.
I've never come across any.
Exactly.
But it's really weird. I was sitting there on Saturday, especially before we started filming, and I was thinking this could potentially be our future of...
Well, yeah.
Me sitting with like bike, car, whatever my future holds, because that's undecided still.
Or is it? No. Go on.
And you teaching our little girl to ride.
If she wants to.
If she wants to. I mean, I'm not going to put her off. I'm not going to force her into anything. But it was refreshing to watch. Basically, you went through a lot of the things on the CBT that kind of get missed or brushed over.
Yep.
And it was refreshing to see how you handled that and how you kind of gave her a lot of time to get used to it. And we didn't rush her. We were just like, we can spend as long doing this as you need to. It's not a problem.
That's one of the biggest problems with CBT and training in the UK is that you get 6 hours, 7 hours with instructors.
They have to keep you for 6 hours.
And do you really think that's enough time to go through highway code stuff and teaching someone how to ride a motorcycle?
And the road stuff.
And then the road stuff all in one day? Yeah, sure. Like, that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
Sure, that's what other... Well, no, I say that. Actually, no, I didn't. I didn't do that because I did my CBT on the scooter. So... I mean, one benefit to that is that I learned the roadcraft on the scooter, so I didn't have to worry about clutch or anything like that whilst I was out on the road. So when I was riding a motorcycle for the first time, I didn't have to worry about the roadcraft so much.
Because you already had that down.
Because I already had that. I just had to focus on the actual operation and how to actually ride the bike. But yeah, so many people, they go into a CBT expecting to learn and be proficient in riding motorcycles at that point. How many people do you think get sent home, or they're like... Right, no, you go on a scooter. That's the only way you're getting a CBT is on your scooter.
Well, I was put on a scooter, wasn't I?
Exactly.
My first time. And also in my first CBT, a guy, he couldn't tell you what the road signs meant for like national speed limit or something, so that he was sent home because of that.
Yeah.
Whereas, because I had a driving license at that point, and I'd been driving for a couple of years, maybe 4 years, by that point, I was I was able to say what these signs meant, and so it didn't really matter to me. But
again, but that's why you're there, though. You're there to learn about the road signs, aren't you? On a
But they-
CBT, they're there to
apparently-
teach you that, right?
But then the second time that I had my CBT, that guy was fantastic. He was so good.
Yeah.
I kept.
Well, go on.
I kept apologising because this other guy, he was the guy. Because there was two of us, my second CBT, and the other guy, he'd just done the first part of getting his motorcycle license, but then his CBT had run out, so he had to go back and get his CBT again to be able to continue.
That's so stupid.
So he was like really proficient. He was really good at what he was doing, and I'm a very anxious person anyway. I don't know if. Go scare away the neighbours. I don't know if you guys probably know like my mental health struggles, but the entire time I kept apologising to the instructor, and he was like, "Why are you apologising?" He said, "I've got to keep you here for 6 hours. I'd rather be doing this than just sitting doing nothing."
See, the thing is, like, you're giving that instructor too much credit.
Do you think?
Like, I think, yeah, he was a decent instructor, but remember, we spent a lot of time together riding as well,
yeah.
Leading up to it. And I think that's the main reason why you felt better in that CBT was
In the
because
second one, yeah.
it wasn't because the instructor was better. It's because you had more time in the saddle. You
Yeah.
had more of that experience.
Oh, I'm definitely not.
So that's that's what I mean though. Don't take any credit away from yourself.
Yeah, I'm not
because-
putting down what you did either.
No.
It's more the fact that he helped me feel more relaxed.
It's got
and
nothing
that-
to do with that.
Yeah.
You yourself, in your skill and your knowledge,
Yeah.
put yourself more comfortable, more at ease because you knew exactly what to do.
I'll be honest. When I do my CBTs, I do much prefer the road riding bit of it
The
than
road is
doing
easier, yeah.
the actual
Yeah.
figure of eights and stuff.
The
I don't
road-
enjoy
yeah.
that bit at
road,
all.
Road riding is so much easier.
I think we started doing other things as well. Because it was the one thing I didn't do in my first CBT, which I did my second, was emergency braking.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, "I've got loads of time to kill. Let's just do some other stuff." And I was like, "All right." And he was like, "As long as you guys don't like fall off at the bikes on the road, then you passed anyway." So he was like, "It's fine."
Yeah.
But I just think if this guy, I guess my final thoughts on this are, if this guy is really nervous about his wife riding, I think he needs to reassess the bike that she's using, but also give her more time in the saddle.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe assess if he's the one that's making her nervous.
Yeah.
You know, he suspects that she's nervous. I know I keep putting words in his mouth, but he's suspecting that she's not comfortable. Maybe assess why that is. Maybe that's in his head. Maybe she is comfortable. Maybe he's putting things out there that aren't really there. And I just think maybe just say to her, right, get on this bike, go around the block and come back. And just send her out by herself on her little estate or wherever they live, if it's
So
possible.
what I would do is he's somewhat similar, but the first thing I would do is have the conversation with her and say, right, I'm really sorry, I don't want you riding my R3.
Yeah.
But let's get you something that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Okay? If he's really worried about the R3, then that's fair enough. It's his bike.
Yeah.
But let's give her an alternative. So let's get another motorcycle that she can ride. And and like you were saying, give her the time.
Yeah.
Allow her the time. It's all well and good to worry about it, but why are you worrying right now? She's done the MSF course.
Yeah.
The instructors there clearly were
Fine
happy
with her.
with what she was doing. So, like, give her the time.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
I just
Don't worry until you have a reason to worry.
Yeah.
Oh, she dropped your R3 a few times. Big deal. That's not a reason for you to worry about her riding, is it?
Yeah. And if that was
That's something that you learn.
And if you didn't want her to drop the bike, don't give her the bike in the first place, or put frame sliders on it. Were you nervous about me riding ZZR?
No.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
No, I wasn't nervous about you riding the ZR, the ZX9, the Daytona, none of them. Because I trusted your ability, and you. But despite the fact that you aren't like that confident riding motorcycles, I knew you had that skill.
I really
to
enjoyed
ride those bikes.
the ZX9R though. I was so upset when you got rid of that bike because I really enjoyed riding that.
But that's what I mean. But I knew that you had it within you. But again, it's just one of those things that believing in yourself, really, isn't it? But this is the opposite.
This guy maybe doesn't believe in his wife.
exactly. This is the opposite. This girl really wants to do this, and she clearly has that drive to do it. Whereas with you, your nerves took over you a little bit more than they probably should have.
Yeah.
So again, it's just different people. But yeah, that's what I would do. Give her the time to do it. And don't use words like stubborn about it. It's a good thing that she's stubborn, because it means she wants to learn. She's determined to do this. She's determined to do a hobby with you. Yeah. Like, that's great. You know, having a riding buddy right next to you in your own house. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much fun. It's just something else that you can share and enjoy together. So, you know, don't be all like,
don't be a negative Nancy.
I don't know if I want her to be riding because she dropped my bike a few times and la-di-da-di-da. Don't worry about that. That's, you know, at the end of the day, mate, you're not going to be able to control what she does anyway. So she's going to learn how to ride whether you like it or not. So you might as well accept it, and you might as well just help her with it and give her the time.
It's really funny. Actually, you've made a point. He didn't say if he was happy or not that his wife was doing this.
No.
I found that quite funny.
No.
But yeah, that's all my thoughts, I think, on that.
Anyway, you guys, I mean, that's the thing. When it comes to girls riding bikes, it's so easy for guys to be very judgmental and very off-putting when we should be doing the exact opposite. I hate it when guys are like, oh, I don't know if she should be riding or not. Yes, she should. And you should be encouraging her to do it. If she doesn't, that's killing the hobby. All right? And we need to do more to keep the hobby alive. Simple as that. All right? So if you're not doing your part to encourage your wife or your girlfriends to ride bikes, shame on you. But anyway, everyone, thank you ever so much for joining us on our podcast today. By all means, let us know down in the comment section below how you feel about this, and of course, by all means, go on Reddit and check out this post. This was posted 39 minutes ago. I mean, this is 4:10 on a Wednesday, so definitely go and check out the post on Reddit if you want to, and leave a comment yourself, or even better, leave a comment on our video about how you would deal with this and whether or not you take a similar line to us, or if you would do something different altogether. Let us know down in the comment section. But if you've enjoyed this one, if you found it informative, then please go ahead and leave that like, hit that subscribe button down there, and that notification bell so you don't miss any more from us. And well, I think that's everything. Thanks again, everyone. You take care, you ride safe. We'll catch you on the next video. Have a good one.